Science-based lifting is ruining fitness. It's taking over mainstream fitness content, and honestly, it should. Using research, facts, and data to optimize your training in the gym and thus improve our health, performance, and aesthetics, that makes all the sense in the world. So we should all be science-based lifters. And if you aren't, you're just ignorant and haven't put in the time to really learn about lifting weights because you're not serious about your fitness goals. This is exactly what I thought in the beginning stages of my fitness journey. And I'd even say this thought lasted pretty long into my fitness journey. However, after I finished my studies in exercise science, began working as a personal trainer, and started making fitness content on YouTube, I went from agreeing and being an advocate for science-based lifting to being one of the more vocal people against it. There are so many reasons why it sucks and it's ruining fitness, and I could go into heavy detail.
And I will go into heavy detail.
Because that's what this video is all about. To expose science-based lifting, you need to know what it is. And I'm going to use this ugly guy's definition of it, aka my brother. A science-based lifter is a lifter who is obsessed with hypertrophy or muscle growth. So they do whatever they can to maximize it. This typically includes using recent literature to create their own exercises regardless if more research needs to be done, or the new exercise heavily decreases the functionality of the previous variation. This typically involves making exercises more stable by prioritizing machines, bracing against objects, or changing the body position to make the exercise more stable, performing exercises sitting down rather than standing up, and this also technically involves using gym equipment like lifting straps. It also means using super range of motion in order to achieve a deep stretch, which they think maximizes muscle growth, heavy length and bias. An example of this being using an incline bicep curl over any other bicep curl variation, because you're heavily lengthened in that position. And last, a heavy isolation bias. Many people believe this is gonna build more muscle and make their physique so much better, so they went on board with it, like I did when I was in college. In college, my mentality about lifting, particularly science-based lifting, is that lifting with research is gonna get the best results, which is why I appreciated it. And because I got my degree in exercise science, I'm just like the self-proclaimed exercise scientist, Dr. Marlon Israetel, who isn't technically self-proclaimed because he does have a degree in the field and a PhD. With my degree and with my studies, I thought that explaining things super complex just meant you know what you're talking about and it's gonna get the best results for other people and myself. And if the research says that getting a super deep stretch is gonna maximize muscle growth, then I should be doing it. However, in the middle of my college career, I got my CPT, or my personal training certification. So I began training people every so often, but after I graduated college, I actually got a personal training job, as this was a way for me to make money while I was trying to get my YouTube channel going. And when I began training people, I realized my preconceived notions about science in lifting was all wrong. If I told my clients something like, in order to maximize hypertrophy of the target musculature, which is the biceps here, you must do elbow flexion and supination whilst under load. This will create the most optimal stimulus to maximize growth in the particular tissue. This would confuse my clients, prevent them from learning anything, and make their training worse. It's so weird how once I started training people, I went against the exercise scientist approach, because it's not practical at all. I realized that when I was training clients, I need to dumb down the information as much as possible, because this is how they would understand things and get better results. Because I learned through my own body transformation and helping others in theirs that training is stupid simple. But that's not true according to science-based lifting.
Togi puts his insanely low IQ on display.
At vector force, now we're getting farther from axis of rotation. So it becomes much harder to perform 5 minutes from a physics perspective. Way farther away from the body.
I've never thought even 1/10 that much about what I'm doing. I thought it was just move to weight.
Togi seems like the dumb one, but he's actually smarter than the other doofus. With everything in life, it's better to work smarter, not harder. The best way to train someone is to talk to them like they're 5. Weightlifting is super simple, so anybody who tries to make it complicated is a special type of dumbass.
When I say that science-based lifting isn't practical, I'm saying it doesn't have any actual use. I know tons of girls in my physical therapy class who are really good at memorizing muscles' functions and their origins, but when asked to actually practically use that information by helping build muscle and strengthening people, they couldn't do it very well. I mean, none of the girls in my physical therapy class were even in shape or muscular, but they knew all the info. Does knowing that the bicep flexes your elbow instead of just saying it curls your arm have any practicality? Not really. I would say that knowing the bicep flexes your elbow does help you learn and understand things better, but that's only the tip of the iceberg. Go watch Jeff Nippard or Dr. Marlon try to explain something and see how often they use jargon.
And speaking of jargon, perfect timing, Jeff Nippard recently released a textbook on lifting weights and muscle building.
My first time seeing these. That's so beautiful. Yo, I can't believe it. Look how like weighty it is. Okay, let's look inside.
It's so much like a textbook.
The paper quality is so good. Hey,
I think this is gonna really help people understand like what they're getting, because they're just getting so much.
There's a full chapter on nutrition, full index at the back. If you wanted to look up like range of motion, go to page 25 or 257. There we go. So we're talking about partial reps. This is a massive chapter on training technique.
Look, if this book was given to a university student, then I get it. It should be in-depth like this. But the average consumer of this book is going to be his fans who just want to build some muscle. This will confuse them more than help them.
And they're not even the worst of it. I've seen some people on TikTok who just go absolutely insane with the jargon.
Here is a full leg day workout from my previous training blocks, specifically lower B for macrocycle 2, mesocycle 6, chest and arm specialization, microcycle 4 to week 5, day 4. I'm still running a 4-day upper lower high frequency split by using 3 different upper days and 3 different lower days to allow for more total exercises within the training week, thus increasing the number of muscle regions being biased via regional hypertrophy to ensure that we are maximizing total muscle fibers being stimulated to achieve the benefits of high frequency training.
The entire point of their jargon isn't to help you understand things better. It's so they sound smarter and they can build authority in the space. So not only does their teaching methods and their content creation not have any practicality, but neither does their actual exercise techniques. What is the practicality or use of lifting like this? I mean, come on. Bro looks like he's prone in Call of Duty. I promise you, you aren't moving anything in that position in real life. Neither does excess range of motion or taking the core stability out of a movement. It's dumb, it makes you look dumb, but it builds more muscle, right? Well, wrong. Regarding range of motion, yes, it does help you build more muscle, but only to a certain extent. Research on this, particularly the squat, found that going past 90 degrees of knee bend or knee flexion did not lead to more muscle growth. But super range of motion is optimal, guys. And when you put your thinking caps on, you actually realize it actually might lead to less muscle growth because you have to use less load. This is because you're doing crazy ranges of motion, which will put you in a disadvantageous position. Why not use a practical range of motion or a functional one? Science-based lifters also use this narrative that machines build more muscle than free weights. But one of the kings of science-based lifting debunked this already.
This is a big new study on muscle growth, and this is $1,000. And I'm gonna give it to the first person who can tell me what caused more muscle growth, free weights or machines.
Probably machines over the free weight. I was gonna say machines.
But no one is getting the right answer, bro. What do you think they found?
That they're the same?
They were the same?
Yeah. Probably.
You got it right. You're the first person. That's so many people. Congratulations.
It says a lot that Jeff Nippard revealed this when it goes against a lot of what he does in his training, which probably means the research is strong on this study, which is unlike most of the studies that science-based lifters use. Most studies use untrained individuals who don't even have great habits for building muscle. For example, they don't even know how to lift weights, they don't sleep enough, their eating is trash, and untrained individuals are so bad for research studies, they built muscle with cardio. Yup, you heard me right. How can you trust this stuff? Even if super range of motion and machines built more muscle, it wouldn't be significant enough. The juice isn't worth the squeeze. You'll look dumb in the gym, and a lot of the setup for these stupid exercises are so complicated. I mean, it'll zap so much of your physical and mental energy just getting ready for the exercise. Science-based lifting takes away all of the athletic and functional benefits of what lifting should have, with the hopes, keyword being hopes, of building more muscle. And speaking of taking the athletic and functional benefits away from lifting, science-based lifting truly is the anti-fitness. When I think of fitness, I think it means you're building and improving your aesthetics, your performance, and your health. The excess range of motion, the lack of core stability in exercises, the overemphasis on isolation exercises, just in the hopes of building this gross physique, it doesn't improve anything that I just said. Science-based lifting has nothing to do with fitness. It has to do with nerds who got bored of Harry Potter or whatever comic they like, so they wanted a new challenge and a new hobby and they went to fitness. There's nothing wrong with science in lifting. And honestly, it has a lot of its benefits and I use a lot of its benefits. But how science-based lifters use that science is honestly disgusting. That's why I will always preach athletic bodybuilding to you. It uses science the right way. And for everything that fitness is about, aesthetics, performance, and health, athletic bodybuilding improves those things. I got a video from ages ago where I went over exactly how to do athletic bodybuilding and how to use it to change your life.